call to order. Do I need to do anything for roll call?
I've got it.
Got everybody. Do we have any public to be heard?
Where's the public?
I know I missed the one person. I'm the one who told them to come, and then I wasn't here last time. I felt so bad. I was like, yeah, you didn't come. He was so excited. So I was like, oh.
Did that guy, remember the guy who came who was, he plays the...
Yeah, from November. Yeah,
Yeah.
I met him at an art and sim.
Yeah.
And he was so enthusiastic, and he's like, I wish I could do more things at the museum. And I was like, well, actually, the board meetings are open.
Well, he said he was going to apply for a vacant seat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's, we're looking for, and he fit the bill beautifully.
Oh yeah, I've met him multiple times at the
Yeah.
art.
He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, April. The next time we have recruitment.
April.
Okay. Yeah, because we have to get more people.
And then has everyone had a chance to look over the minutes? And it is from the November 15th, correct? Correct. Anyone have any corrections, questions? Can I get a movement to approve? Kathleen? Is there a second? Bruce? And then all in favor? And it is unanimous. We're ready for accessions.
So do I usually, my first time doing this, so.
So yes, welcome.
do I
I think
go in the room,
everyone
or-
get a chance to meet Elizabeth, our new curator of history. So yeah, basically the process usually is talk a little bit about each of them, and then, either, up to you whether you want to have people hold questions to the end or ask them after each accession.
Sure. We'll ask after each session. How about that? This
And
is
Eric used to try to keep it to at least 45 minutes.
Well, our first one is our largest grouping of objects. There's a whole box of letters. I opened and read a couple of them. They are mostly relating to Charlotte Beckwith and Eli Zane Mills. I think there is a family connection there. Almost all of them are stamped Longmont. Any that seem to have absolutely nothing to do with Longmont, we did not keep. The photo that I believe is Charlotte Beckwith, and I cross-referenced that with some other things is not in this photo, but I'm pretty sure it's her, so we're going to take that. And then I believe it's the daughter of William Wright is the one who gave us this. And so he's the photographer of these photos from the 1980s. So one of a barn, and the rodeo, and the fairgrounds. Any questions?
God, the 1980s sounds like it's such a long time ago.
Are the letters
It is.
dated? Like when are the
Yeah,
letters
the
from?
letters are all around from the first decade of the 19th century, or the 20th century. Yeah. They're a little boring. They're kind of about what they shopped for and what the weather was, but they seem, they're from Longmont, so I thought
Yeah.
might as well. Any other questions? All right, this one was really fun when it came in. Parks and Natural Resources, their department, I guess this was hanging on their wall for many years, it sounds like, or they had it in storage. An aerial photo, it is in the archive right now. It is quite large, 37 by 37, of the city in 1978. Main Street /287 is right here. And then you have Union Reservoir, so it's kind of the eastern side of town. And the museum is like, I think, in this field now. Any questions about this one?
Does it note the population?
It does not.
Does not.
It does have the date on it.
This one's 1978. Yeah,
But we could cross-reference what the
sure.
population was.
Sure.
And about 40,000. I'm not mistaken.
And what is it now? About 100,000?
100,000.
Yeah.
I guess one thing to note is that Skyline High School is under construction. I think it's this area right here is kind of like a dirt pit. And the area around the Fox Hill Golf Club is sort of being built up as well.
And the sugar factory is still in operation.
Yeah, I think back then.
78 would have just closed. The year would close in
Just, would it
77.
close in 77 it
Yeah.
closed? Huh. That must have been a big blow. Economically.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
On top of a time of high inflation, right?
yeah, it was terrible.
Any other
They called it stagflation. That's what they call it in the late 70s.
Next one, this one came in completely randomly with a cookbook that belonged to her husband's family. Her husband is related to Johannes Nelson, who was a Swedish immigrant and is buried at the Risby Church. This is we do have one of these already, but I feel like we can't have enough because it is direct Longmont connection, has ads from local businesses like the Golden Store, handwritten recipes on the cover, and then the recipes on the inside are like submitted by, Mrs. Martin. Lots of last names and streets around town. No date on this. Eric, did you have any idea roughly what the date of this would be?
Let's see. If it was Golden Rule, that means it's between like 1895 and about 1910. Be able to pin it down a little more. But was it? What was the front cover?
It just said recipes. And it's kind of a.
So these are Swedish recipes.
No, these were submitted by locals.
Oh, by local people.
And then printed out, interspersed with local ads for local businesses. So we could probably find a shorter lived business and probably figure out the date
Well, that's
from
probably
there.
pretty interesting.
But it didn't have like a copyright date stamped on the cover, unfortunately. And that's it. That's all we have.
Well, I don't know. I move that we,
Yeah, we accept.
Linda
Yeah.
seconds. And then if you don't want to vote, we just approve, unanimous. Ready for report?
Okay. Let's see. Does everybody have a printed director's report? Did you put it on Teams or?
You might be able to pull up your email. It was sent.
Let's see. That would be
Oh, who's on?
because Elizabeth is logged in.
Oh,
Anyway,
need a copy?
I've got a copy. I'll just, if anybody else needs a copy, I'll just go through. I'll hit a few highlights. So under administration, we awarded the contract for the courtyard renovation. So that is the first kind of public phase of the museum expansion. Krishy Construction, 1.375 million. Met with them earlier this week. They're going to start actual construction early next week. And the contract calls for it to be done by May. We will cross our fingers that that happens. But it's exciting to have kind of the first phase of our expansion project underway, which is the public phase.
can you just remind us what that entails?
So this, the courtyard will be expanded. So right now we can hold about 350 people for our summer concert series. We're going to move the fence out and create a new performance pavilion that will be south and west, the southwest corner of the expanded fenced area. So our architects estimate we can hold about 700 for summer concerts. We're also going to pave the innermost portion of the courtyard. So right now, when we get any kind of heavy rain, that area just sort of becomes a swamp, which makes it not terribly good for a lot of programs throughout the summer. So we're going to pave that so that hopefully it'll be more used and also potentially available for rentals as well. And then with the larger fenced area, we'll be able to also use that for outdoor use by our summer camp programs. They currently have this temporary corral fence that encloses an area outside of the regular fence. We'll be able to have basically everything inside the main museum fence. So it'll be a lot more functional for the summer camps as well. So that, if things go perfectly, we'll be available for summer camps this summer. But we have alternate plans. If things don't go perfectly, we'll continue to have summer camps and summer concerts, just not in the courtyards. All right, under exhibits, a week from this Friday, we'll be opening Picturing the West, which is 19th century Western landscape photography that we have supplemented with works by women and indigenous artists from that time period or a little bit later. So we're very excited by that show. It's going up right now in the gallery. And, it will run from the 26th through early May. So chance aren't going to be here on Friday night, the 26th, for the opening to see it anytime through early May. And feel free to bring folks down. It's got some very well-known photographers. William Henry Jackson, that did a lot of photographs in Colorado. Edward Muybridge, who is California. Carlton Watkins, who took photos across the country. There's about a dozen or so photographers. And the photographs are very large. They're what are called mammoth plate photos. If you're not aware, in the 19th century, to print a photograph, you had to have a negative the same size as the print. So we actually, Elizabeth has found a camera from History, Colorado that weighs 100 pounds. That shows how huge those cameras were that they had to take the negatives that then they turned into the prints that we're going to see.
These are straight film box cameras on stand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know my son had, when he was studying, he had to do large and medium format, and they were cute, big babies with large phones.
Yeah. So these
sound like huge.
These some of them are 16 inches by 20 inches. So
Okay.
imagine the size of a glass negative that size.
Did they have film? Were they kind of a silver print? The negatives?
The negatives were
glass.
actually glass.
They were glass.
They were actually panes of glass,
Yeah.
and they would coat them with the chemicals, and then they had about 15 minutes to get them in the camera, get them exposed, and then they would usually bring with them a portable darkroom to then develop them out in the field. So it's quite a process.
Do you have any Ansel Adams or anything? Because I know there was a show up in Loveland.
Not in this show. These are a little bit earlier photographers, more like 1860s to 1880s. All right, we will move on to auditorium programming. Just a note that we set records this year for ticket sales, rental revenue, and concession sales. So in these areas, we're definitely recovering well from the COVID years. That's a good sign. And under education, I will just note that we have basically doubled our art and sip programs. So we had usually one every Thursday night. We now are adding two. We're adding a second art and sip. So we're doing a 4 p.m. and a 6:30 p.m. art and sip.
That's good because they sell out so fast.
Yes, yes. So now there's a little more opportunity for more folks to experience the art and sip, and we've actually brought in a new instructor who will be leading a lot of those art and sip classes, and is actually now a museum staff member. So we'll be able to have a lot more flexibility in future art and sips, because we'll have multiple staff members that can lead those rather than having to find a contractor always for some of the
That's
classes.
good.
And she's the owner of Baker Journal.
Joanne, do you know?
believe so.
Okay. Let's see. Under collections, as I mentioned, Elizabeth is coordinating some loans of antique cameras that will be on display with the Picturing the West exhibit. So check that out. And skip ahead to development. We received a $40,000 grant from the Gates Family Foundation. It's the largest foundation grant outside of the Stewart Family Foundation that we've received for this campaign. So we're really delighted with that. And hopefully that will lead to additional gifts in the future from the Gates Family Foundation. In case you're wondering, no, it's not the Bill Gates of Microsoft. This is actually Gates Rubber, which is a Denver company. And I think the final thing that I will mention is you should have gotten in the mail the new program catalog from the museum. It's got all of our spring programs in it. There's a ton going on, films, concerts. It's got all of our art and sips, some of our presents, special events. We've got a play called Love Letters and 2 silent films by Montalto Motion Picture Orchestra, Friday afternoon concert series, and the Boulder International Film Festival. So, lots going on at the museum. Any questions on the director's report?
So, I don't have a report as chair. Do we have any unfinished business?
Very.
Okay, and then new business, the new vision statement.
All right, so this is kind of the last piece of our strategic planning process. When we originally met to do our strategic plan, we looked at our mission statement and felt like, yes, it very much still tells what we do as an institution. But then we looked at our vision statement, and the current vision statement is the Longmont Museum fosters a community that is culturally educated and creatively inspired. And we, as a staff, kind of were talking about, well, this seems a little top-down. The museum is doing this to the community, and we wanted something that was a little more collaborative.
You don't want to victimize the community.
Right, right. And it also just seemed like it's a bit of a mouthful, maybe not the best constructed. So we had a subcommittee work on developing a new vision statement, and then ultimately at a staff meeting kind of did the final wordsmithing. So the one that we are proposing that would then sort of be included in our new strategic plan and any other places where we need a vision statement would be: the Longmont Museum aspires to be our community's home to share collective experiences and diverse stories. So We like that it talked about diversity, we like that it talks about stories, and, you know, rather
Doing
than,
things together.
you know, being the top down, it's, you know, we are the home where people come together to share experiences and stories. So, I'm bringing it to you all for discussion and hopefully adoption.
Say that again?
The Longmont Museum aspires to be our community's home to share collective experiences and diverse stories.
And I meant to email you, but I got distracted with some other things. I was gonna look up, just out of curiosity, what the library's vision statement. Do you know offhand?
I don't know.
I just wondered if there was any similarities or anything to that one. But, you know, doesn't mean that they can't be similar, if indeed they might be. I don't know.
No plagiarism.
No, we did not steal this. We
It's
did
all in
not
the
create
news,
it
you
with
know.
ChatGPT. We did look at a lot of other vision
you
statements
did,
and
you
get some ideas from them,
Yeah.
but this one kind of came out of a lot of staff discussion.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I would move that we adopt it.
Okay.
Movement from Tom to
Second.
second, and Linda, and then, so one vote, aye. Okay, it's universally approved to adopt the new vision statement.
Thank you.
Do we have any other board comments?
I just had a comment, I'm sure we've all been thinking about it, as we do have, I think, 4 vacancies on the board? Three right now. So, as I'm sure we've all thought about this, do you know any friends or relatives that we think would make good board
Oh, that would be
members?
definitely.
Well, not with friends so much.
Yeah.
And as long as it's not probably a direct relative.
Right.
Whatever, you know, mother, father, spouse, children, whoever else is included in that.
I think recruitment starts in April, so they're not collecting applications
Yeah.
yet.
Mhm.
Certainly as soon as the city clerk's office starts the recruiting process, we're gonna be sending out widely. And we'd love for you to distribute that with your acquaintances. That'd be great.
I have a friend who applied to be on this board a few years ago and she was not accepted. I don't know if she's still interested. Cynthia, her last time she owns a course.
Setchi?
Yeah, Setchi.
Is she out of incarceration by now?
But she's a small business owner and she lives in
Yeah.
the historic East Side.
Well, that's, yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
said we've had more applicants than positions, I guess.
Yeah, that must have been a
And she
rare.
lives, in Longmont.
Yeah, she owns a historic house on the east side.
And is a textile artist.
Yeah, she owns a historic, like a corset company, so apparently they're the best, most historically accurate corsets you can get.
Oh, you can always call them and say,
April. She also has like thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram.
yeah,
So
that would be good.
she knows how to
Yeah,
use
you should
Instagram.
ask her to see if she'd be interested because of the openings and she has a better chance.
Yeah, so I'll mention
Yeah,
that you guys are
absolutely.
looking for.
And especially now, because I think when she applied the last time, it was city council just basically did the interviews and there wasn't really any way for us to like say, you know, these are the people we think would be really great additions to the board. But now it's actually this board that does the interviews, so it's a lot better opportunity for folks that are really involved in the museum. I know I've seen Cynthia at a number of the museum events, so.
That'll be good. Tell her that. She has a really good chance.
Great.
Nice. And we need to reach out to that young man.
Yeah.
and let him know he's gotta put in something to get home, cause he'd really be full.
Yeah.
He really would be.
And I think he shared.
And
He's
he's a
got his
Longmont
contact
resident also.
information,
Yeah,
we'll make
yeah.
sure to share that when
Yes.
it's time.
If you don't have any other comments, does anyone wanna make a motion to adjourn? Okay. Is there a second? Linda? Is everyone?